What's up, y'all? Welcome to Nostalgic Sports. Today we're covering why the UFL needs to expand to Tulsa, Oklahoma. I covered Tulsa as one of the possible expansion cities in my four-part series where I discuss multiple possible expansion cities, but this will be an in-depth look at my case at why Tulsa deserves a UFL expansion team. The city of Tulsa is located in northeast Oklahoma and ranks the second most populated city in the state, ranking just behind the state capital, Oklahoma City. Tulsa has a very strong sports market with multiple successful minor league teams, having an indoor football team, the Tulsa Oilers, a minor league baseball team, the Tulsa Drillers, and a hockey team, the Tulsa Oilers. And yes, the IFL and hockey team are both the Oilers, and the baseball team being called the Drillers is all a reference to the booming oil business in the city where Tulsa was referred to as the oil capital of the world. And that's a big part of the city and the state's history. Tulsa is also home to the Tulsa University Golden Hurricanes, where they have a lot of fan loyalty in the city, and their football team has been on the rise as of late in the AAC. So there's definitely a strong sports market in Tulsa to be tapped into without the market being too competitive, having multiple major league sports teams in one city to compete with. In fact, the whole state, there's no NFL, NHL, or MLB team, just the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA. So there's definitely room for the UFL to expand there and enough of a market to sustain it. A huge representation of the market there is on a list of the top cities in the country's UFL viewership. Tulsa ranked 10th in national viewership without having a UFL team in their city or even state. For more context, Tulsa had higher UFL TV viewership than San Antonio and Detroit, that both had UFL teams that played in their city. That definitely says a lot and shows that there's a lot of fan interest in Tulsa if there is so high in viewership with no team. I think a lot of the love for spring football in Tulsa stems back to the 1980s when the original USFL was in operation and they had a team in the city, the Oklahoma Outlaws. They had a successful fan base, but the team was relocated to become the Arizona Outlaws, and that was the end of that. But it's evident the market has stayed, and Tulsa has stayed hungry to get their spring football team back. It also helps that a Tulsa UFL team wouldn't have to start from scratch, as they would be able to bring back the established franchise and fans, possibly. It could also worked perfectly. The fact that where the Oklahoma Outlaws played in the 80s in Tulsa was at Skelly Field, and it's still operational and home to the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes college football team today. So that could be a really good home stadium for a UFL expansion team. There's history with spring football there and the current Tulsa college football market that could be tapped into. Skelly Field's capacity is 30,000, which I think is a really good size for a UFL team, not being overly huge to where it's hard to fill up, and it's not too small either, with plenty of room. And the fact that the stadium was built in 1930 and stays filled and successful to this day says something. As well as having a stadium that could be a perfect home for a UFL team, the geographic location of Tulsa makes complete sense for the league. If we take a look at the map of current UFL teams, we see that a Tulsa team would fit right in the middle of the league and even borders two states that already have UFL teams. Travel really wouldn't be an issue adding Tulsa into the league, as the expenses wouldn't be that high for travel. I mean, they're really close to the Texas teams that makes up 3 of 8 teams in the league already, and they're not that far from everyone else. And I could see a rivalry formed between an Oklahoma and Texas UFL team, just like we see in college football as one of the best rivalries between the Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns. I think that could definitely work its way into the UFL if Tulsa were to have a team. They are also close enough to OKC, Stillwater, and Norman to bring in some of those college football fans from those areas. To me, Tulsa definitely seems like a viable option for a UFL team with a readily available stadium. Geographically, it wouldn't be expensive, and for the existing teams to travel to and from, it wouldn't be, and a market in a huge football state and an already existing past fan base for an Oklahoma UFL team, it makes perfect sense for the league. And if Tulsa did get a UFL expansion team, they could bring back the Oklahoma Outlaws name or the Tulsa Outlaws as well. I also like the name the Tulsa Twisters, and anything with an oil drilling theme would also work perfect with most of their other names being oil drilling related. They could also be added to the USFL conference, considering they were part of the original USFL. What do y'all think would be a good name for a Tulsa UFL team? Let me know below. And we covered a lot of cities so far in the possible UFL expansion cities series, but Tulsa, Oklahoma was one that really stood out to me and is one of the top cities for UFL expansion, in my opinion. There are a few other cities I like a lot and would like to go more in depth on them also, so that will be coming up. And if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'll go more in depth on some individual cities, and I'm also going to be continuing the possible expansion cities series as well. So let me know your ideas and thoughts, and definitely stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more UFL and other sports content coming soon.